Hello and welcome to this videocast for subscribers to davidicke.com. Well, it's been another week in Britain when the Westminster VIP paedophile scandal has come to the fore. We've had government documents revealing that there were great concerns about well-known political figures in the 1980s during the Margaret Thatcher administration, but nothing was done. We've had confirmation that the Thatcher Cabinet Secretary, Lord Armstrong, was warned about a particular MP with regard to paedophilia by MI5, but nothing was done. We've had an Australian television documentary exposing more about the Westminster paedophile elite. And we've had a victim who has named people with regard to a cover-up of the Kincora boys' home abuse scandal in Belfast. Kincora was where the boys there were horrifically abused from the 1950s to the 1980s in Belfast, Northern Ireland. And three of the people that are named are Lord Mountbatten, massive royal insider, of course, and mentor to Prince Philip and Prince Charles; Anthony Blunt, the Russian spy, who was another major royal insider, very close friend and associate of the Queen Mother, and surveyor of the Queen's pictures. And also in the list is Sir Maurice Oldfield, former head of MI6. And they are named in this context in the cover-up of Kincora. And yet it is no accident that Mountbatten, Blunt and Oldfield are all named as paedophiles in my books. And also this week we've had the exposure of a major child trafficking ring being run in the United States by Child Protection. And it might be worth considering what you would like to control if you want an unceasing supply of children for your paedophile ring. What would you want to control? You'd want to control those who control children. And that's why there are so many paedophile scandals involving child care centres run by government, and why there are so many scandals involving child protection social services. And it might be worth asking too, in regard and in the light of what is coming to attention now, why it is that staggering numbers of children are being taken worldwide from loving parents and taken into care by child protection for the most spurious, ludicrous excuses and reasons. What we're looking at here, and I've been investigating and exposing this since way back in the 1990s, we are looking at a global web. And it's part of a much bigger web with ambitions to centrally control the human race, and we're moving that way all the time. But that's another topic for another day. But there's a web too, globally, of paedophiles, elite paedophiles, as they like to think of themselves, and also Satanists. And at the inner core level, the web of paedophilia and the web of Satanism come together as one. And all over the world, it's going on. In the United States, where the Bush family, Father George Bush, is a notorious paedophile for anyone that wants to investigate. And in this country, while all this information has been coming to public attention, and we've had the Jimmy Savile scandal, this BBC entertainer and disc jockey who has been exposed as a record-breaking paedophile. While all this has been going on, there's been an elephant in the living room that has not been questioned and has not been highlighted anything like as much as it should be. And that is the British royal family. I would strongly suggest that it's no accident that Lord Mountbatten was a paedophile and involved, therefore, in the cover-up of King Cora, nor an accident that, according to Jimmy Savile himself, it was Lord Mountbatten who introduced him to the inner circle of the royal family in the 1960s. And throughout the period from then till up to close to when he died in 2011, Jimmy Savile was an inner circle bosom buddy of the British royal family and a close friend not only of Mountbatten and Philip, but also of Prince Charles. So let's ask the first question. Why would a disc jockey, and in later years an aging disc jockey, be the bosom buddy of the British royal family? Why? Why would the Queen Mother, indeed the Queen, be such a close friend of Anthony Blunt, a Russian spy and notorious paedophile? And one other thing that has not come out about Jimmy Savile, which is extremely fundamentally relevant to all this that's going on, is that he wasn't just a paedophile. He was a procurer of children for the rich and famous. And that's why he was able to be protected from all investigation and prosecution for decade after decade after decade, because this web looks after its own. And the web, the paedophile web, goes into royalty, it goes into politics big time, it goes into the judiciary, goes into the media, goes into all these things. And therefore, we must ask this question too. Not only was he an insider of the British royal family, Jimmy Savile, to the extent that he was used as a mediator between Diana and Charles when their marriage was breaking down. What? He was also a close friend of Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister of Britain, through all this period of clearly colossal paedophile activity within her government. And all this is just a coincidence? These are expressions of the web and how it works. And if people think what's come out already is amazing, well, strap bloody in, because it's hardly started yet. Jimmy Savile was actually asked why he was so close to the royal family. And one of the things he said, one of the reasons he gave, is that he works deep cover. And so he did. It was Savile who was providing children for the rings, including Prime Minister Ted Heath, the predecessor as leader of the Conservative Party to Margaret Thatcher, a man I exposed in The Biggest Secret a long time ago, back in the late 1980s. And the same person, one of them, one of the sources that told me about um, the British royal family and their involvement in Satanism was the same person who told me about the Jimmy Savile connection to the royals and his love of paedophilia and necrophilia, sex with dead bodies. This is why he used to volunteer to be a porter in hospitals, because he had access then to the mortuary. And there are many sources that have given me chapter and verse about the true nature of the British royal family. And if it all came out and was taken seriously, there'd be a revolution in the morning.